Hello folks, I'm gonna do another video of an installation I've been thinking about doing, and I finally pulled the trigger and bought the gear. So here is my new purchase, a Lowrance Point 1 external GPS antenna, and to go along with that you need to purchase a NMEA starter kit. I thought when I first purchased this that you might be able just to plug this into the NMEA connection on the back of the unit, but no, you need to put in this starter kit and run a full NMEA network in your boat. This actually probably isn't a bad idea for me, because someday when it is released I'm looking at purchasing the new Motor Guide XI5 that connects directly to your Lowrance HDS Gen 2 unit, which should be pretty cool. So let's see what's in the box here. You've got your GPS antenna. It's a nice small little unit. I think this is about a 15-foot cord if you're going to run it to a corner of the boat. Got a little kit here with a T and a gasket and a little lock nut if you're going to use the pole mount, which I won't be using, and some screws for mounting it to your boat. So in the NMEA kit, starter kit, let's see what's in there. We've got 2 T's, a power connection that is going to use up one of your T's. You wire this directly to a good ground and a power supply. A 15-foot cable, just like the one that's came with the kit, and a little short, looks like about a 2-foot cable. And also we've got these little guys, which are terminators. One of them goes at each end of your string of T's. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll probably end up putting this puck. Let's go look and see what we got here. I looked at a couple of spots for mounting it, and I have a feeling that this little unused corner right here will be perfect. Right about there. It's almost like the spot was made for it, just in this corner, and it should have a good shot of the sky there. I looked at possibly putting it at the back of the boat too, but the instructions say to make sure it's clear of wiring looms, and this obviously wouldn't be a good spot. There's a nice spot in the corner here, which is over top of the transducers, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but I think I'm going to mount it in that spot up at the front. Okay, for my power supply to run the NMEA network, these boats have got 4 used to be unused fuse blocks to be able to run extra circuits in the boat. So my boat has a few extra things on it right now, so I'm going to find the one that's the least used. One circuit's for my windshield wiper, which you can see this boat has on it. One circuit is being used for the horn that's being mounted on it. One of the circuits is being used for the GPS to run the power for the sonar GPS unit, and the third one right now, its only purpose in life is to run a power, an LED that indicates the master power is turned on. So because all that circuit runs is that one little LED for the power, I'm going to tie into that one and use that to power my NMEA or NMEA circuit. There we go. Okay, you can see the circuits there that I'm going to be using. One of them, we've got, let's just see if I can set this light there. Okay, so this one's powering the horn button, and that one right now is the one I'm going to use. This little red wire runs up to power that little LED to indicate that the lights or the master power's on. And let's just try this. Okay, this guy right here is running the sonar. Oh, crap. There we go. Okay, so that one runs, yeah, third one over runs the sonar GPS, and the fourth one over currently is powering the windshield wipers. So we're going to tie into this little guy right here. Alright, so here's the NMEA power supply. It's got a 3 amp fuse already installed in here. You can see that 3 amper in there. What we're going to do is attach a little female terminal onto the red power lead and to the ground lead. I'm going to clip those on there, and I'm also going to attach that little LED wire up under the dash to this guy as well. Okay, so this little power lead right here is the one that powers the little green LED that tells me the system's on, so we're going to cut that off. And strip this wire a little bit. Give me some. There we go. And I'm going to take the power lead for the NMEA network, and we're going to attach that together to one of these little terminals. Let's make sure they're both in there. Alright, so I ended up using a little bit bigger female connector on the power lead, and I used the little small guy on the ground lead. So now I've got to attach these to their respective spots under the dash. I'll go stick them underneath there, and then I'll take a picture of it. Alright, so now I've got the wires connected. You can see this is the one to the LED master power on, and this is the lead in the same terminal that will power the NMEA network. And here's the NMEA cable. You can see here's the power, or the ground, running up to, there's a little block. You just see it there. That's where all my grounds go to. It's like the master ground. So this lead right here is now connected to that block as well. So now we've got power, and now we got to run the rest of the cables. Okay, the shitty part about mounting this little puck here, it'd be nice if you could just screw it on and drill a small hole for this cable, but the cable is permanently attached to the connector, and this connector requires 5/8 is just not quite big enough, so like 11/16 would be perfect, but I don't have an 11/16 drill bit, so I'm going to drill a 5/8 hole for this guy, and then just use a file to take the corners off a tiny bit, or the edges off, just big enough for this little nut to fit in here. Okay, I think I'm going to make sure that I have this mounted, and I'm going to make a little mark with a Sharpie, and I don't have 3 hands, so I got to set it down to do this. Okay, something else that I did was used a little razor blade just to peel away the carpet. When you drill holes through carpet, it tends to whine around the drill bit a lot, so I opened up a little hole here, and you can see that it's actually sheet metal underneath there, which I didn't expect, but there's metal over top of plywood, I think, for the structure. So I'm going to drill a hole right through that little piece of sheet metal there, and it should go into this compartment which runs the length up here. And I can see it, there's an access panel to that on the inside, so I should be able to drill my hole here and feed the wire through to the rest of where the T's are going to be. Alright, I drilled a little pilot hole first. You can see the little pilot hole in there, just to help the 5/8 drill bit start. And this is my drill. Got a 5/8 drill bit in there, and it's just a cordless drill, but it happens to have a 1/2-inch chuck on it, which you need for a drill bit this big. So there's the 5/8 hole, which is just not quite big enough to feed the wire through, so I'm going to use a file to open that up a little bit so that I can get that cable fed through. Alright, so the hole's drilled now, and you can see that it's just big enough for this thing to fit through the hole. Okay, so because these edges are sharp, I'm going to try to find a grommet somewhere to put around the edge of that so that it protects it from rubbing against that wire. There we go. I got a little rubber grommet cut out, just the right size to seal or cover the sharp edges of that sheet metal there. I had to cut out some sections of the little grommet you can see here. I had to cut a fair bit of it out in order to compress it down small enough to fit into that 5/8 hole, but that should work perfect. Now we can slide this down. You notice I already put the gasket in place around the bottom of it. Not that it's going to do much of anything against carpet, but I thought I might as well put it on there. Now it's important to make sure that you have this little arrow facing towards the front of the boat. And once I get that in position, I'm going to drill 2 holes in each of those spots into the sheet metal and put some sheet metal screws to hold it in place. Okay, the rest should be pretty straightforward to figure out. I've got the GPS, I've got the NMEA cable run from the sonar unit down through the dash, and you can see down here we've got 3 cables coming out. We've got the GPS sonar unit, we've got the antenna, and we've got the power unit. So 3 cables down, 3 T's. 1 came with the antenna, 2 came with the starter kit, and we've got the 2 resistors. So we're just going to screw those all together and find a nice tidy place to tuck them up underneath the dash. Okay, everything's all hooked up and I've got my power turned on. Let's power up the unit. And we'll just go through the steps for making sure that it knows the 0.1 antenna is hooked up. I'll have to go through a configuration sequence when I'm out on the lake the first time, so I won't be able to show you that, but I will show you how to connect up to the antenna. Okay, we'll go to settings. And I believe it's under satellites. And then you see GPS source. And then you have a choice of auto, your 0.1, or your HDS. I went through this a minute ago and it was initially set on auto, but now I'm going to set it on 0.1, and that way it's set to that device. And then close everything up. Now I think I have to go through some kind of auto set sequence because I was kind of hoping to see that thing pointing towards the front of the boat, but I'll get that figured out once I'm out on the water.